public. We will make sure that we don't compromise, and there will be no limitations or compromise on the freedom of worship in Kenya. I know that there are proposals that have been made in some quarters about regulation of the church, regulation of worship, regulation of religious activities. I want to remind those who are pursuing that kind of exercise that the Constitution of Kenya is very explicit on the freedom of worship, and there will be no compromise whatsoever. There will be no limitation whatsoever on the freedom of worship in Kenya, because apart from what the Constitution provides, we are a God-fearing nation, and we will equally defend our faith. As Christians, as different religions, we will make sure that we protect the freedom of worship in Kenya. And I want to ask those who have ideas to allow religious leaders themselves to develop how they want to regulate themselves and how the church, how religious organizations are going to go forward, because that was the recommendation of the task force I appointed under Reverend Mutaba Mushimi, that the religious body in Kenya will decide how they want to make sure that the freedom of worship in Kenya is protected. And I want to give assurance to the church and to the religious institutions in Kenya that we will defend the right and the freedom of worship in Kenya, and it will not be compromised in whatsoever manner. And to conclude by saying that as AIC Milimani, continue to pray for our nation, continue to pray for the unity of Kenya, the prosperity of Kenya, and that all of us as Kenyans will know the will of God, will look for the will of God, pray for the will of God, and the will of God to persist and to be accomplished in Kenya.